experts. This session is captured as a global debate. My name is Maria Guajardo. I am based in Tokyo, Japan, and I will be your moderator for this particular session. The title of the session, the focus of our session will be Artificial Intelligence Poses a Threat to the Humanization of Education. Agree or disagree? We have three experts joining us this evening. I will say a few words about them. I will then go on to explain the format of our debate. I will then turn it back to our experts, and each one will give an opening words for 2 minutes, and then we will jump into the debate. The way the format is set up, each expert will have up to 2 minutes, and then their time will end, and I will then call on the next participant. Now, what you didn't know was that our experts only moments ago were informed as to which side of this argument they're supposed to take. So they did not have time to prepare for one side or the other. Our hope is that through this process and with the assistance of our experts, we will in fact do a deep dive into understanding the relationship between artificial intelligence and education. And so with that, let me begin. First, let me introduce Dr. Luis Mormile. He is an assistant professor and AI researcher at Soka University. He is specializing in inductive biases in computer vision models. Well, Luis, thank you so much for joining us from Tokyo. Next, I would like to introduce Meenakshi Uberoi. She is CEO of Pedagogics. It was a tongue twister, but I hope I got your company's name right, Meenakshi. And she is specializing in digital pedagogy. And third, I'd like to welcome Dr. Christine Haskell. Her expertise is data management and solution management in Fortune 100 companies and across multiple sectors. And so with that, let me now explain what our format will be. Our experts have all been given a position to defend, and we will hold 5 rounds. Each round will consist of 2-minute presentations by speakers. There will be no rebuttals directly in the round, although our experts may choose to share a rebuttal in their response, and that is their prerogative. We will have a posting in the chat that says 2 minutes are up, but I will also take hold of the session and I will interrupt. Although I am not typically an interrupter, I will do that for this evening's session. So bear with me. At the end of these 5 rounds, we then will open up the floor for audience questions. So be prepared, hang on, it's going to move fast. So in terms of positions, and I'm going to be referring to our experts by first name, they've given me that permission. So Luis will be taking the position of yes, artificial intelligence is a threat. Meenakshi will also be taking the yes position, and Christine will be standing on the no side. It is not a threat. And so with that, let's just have some opening words. And my question to our expert panel was this: How did you come to be connected to artificial intelligence or data? Where is that personal connection for you? Luis, would you start?
Yes. Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be sharing this debate with all of you. And my name is Luis. I'm from Brazil, but currently I am based in Japan. And my path crossed with AI exactly 10 years ago when I was a senior year in university. And I started doing research on that field. And I immediately fell in love with what I was researching, and specifically I was researching about Bayesian models, which is a very specific type of model, predictive model in AI. But then I would like to share a little bit of how AI became cross paths with education in my life. because I'm formally an educator since earlier this year. I began teaching here in Soka University, but I believe that that experience began for me actually about 15 years ago when I was in high school, or it started uh, about 15 years ago, because at that time I began to assist students, classmates, on in math or in physics, and I was helping them to learn. And I always had great pleasure doing that. And that continued through my master's. And when I came here to Japan, I realized that I had many other undergrad students here, foreign undergrad students here, with difficulty learning subjects such as calculus and algebra, and I started helping them. And when I shared that with an educator here, which is a great inspiration for me, that educator said, "Don't ignore this feeling. If you like this, maybe this is something that you're meant to be doing." And that's when I decided to actually become an educator in this field of AI, and that's what I've been doing till now.
Thank you so much, Luis. And Meenakshi.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Thank you so much for having me on this debate. It's interesting to note that I'm on the other side, or rather, I've been advocating the other side all the time. But I've been in the field of education for the last multiple years. I want to give away my age there. But I have, I'm known for digital pedagogy. I am, and when you talk about digital, I don't think artificial intelligence could be kept aside. Artificial intelligence, I believe, has actually emerged as a formidable force, promising efficiency, personalization, and innovation in education. And there's so much that has happened. I could quote examples if I wanted to, and we have so many success stories. So I have a very close connect to this topic. But yes, whenever you tread such paths and whenever you adopt new technologies, I think one thing that you need to be very mindful of is a crucial way in which you use or you try and adapt it and scrutinize the potential, because you're treading a very new path, and caution always helps. And definitely, humanizing the whole piece is something that I'm very mindful of. And if I quote a few examples in my talk, as I will, you'll realize that while I speak on probably the force side, I might also lend to the other side. For I think AI can complement rather than compromise. We can always use it to actually not not be fearful about it, but probably use it to rather channelize or collective intellect of all of us to explore how is it that we can use to better the way we teach and learn. Especially in teaching and learning, I believe it has a great space. And please, if my time is up, too, let me know. I can
All
talk.
right. And it
Thank
is. Thank you so much, Meenakshi and Christine.
Hi. I think it's ironic that with a degree in English literature and industrial psychology degrees, that the data discipline and a 25-year career in information technology gave me a voice and a great career. I mean, I think, the liberal arts is the pathway to understanding data, the critical thinking, and the sort of balance of subjective intelligence. I think is essential, especially as we venture into the artificial intelligence world, where we're going to need to start challenging the output of what we're seeing. So that's my connection with data. I mean, I've been in this space a long time. I've seen that worked with the data dilemma from multiple angles, from data quality, metadata management. As you said, I've driven a lot of data solutions over the years, um, data governance programs. Worked with data leaders on workforce development and digital upskilling, to data literacy, and so looking at that from both objective and subjective perspectives, and data is the glue that binds all disciplines together, and it is going to become a more formal function in the future. It's a very messy area right now. But I think, people are starting to talk about methodologies and common platforms in that space in a way that they were talking about people, process, and technology 20 years ago. So I would expect more formality to come out of that space in the future, which is exciting.
Perfect. All right, Christine, thank you so much for that intro to your perspective. And so let's get started. So the question is, or the statement is, artificial intelligence poses a threat to the humanization of education. Luis, what are your thoughts?
Well, I think there are many arguments as for why artificial intelligence can be a threat to the humanization of education. And I believe that any technology per se is not either good or bad. I think technology has only potential value. The real value lies on its applications. So I believe that if not applied correctly with ethics, AI can indeed be a threat to the humanization of education. And I have several reasons that I could list that potential threats, but I think that in general, it's what Carl Sagan laid great stress on about 30 years ago. He said that we are basing our society on science and technology, and we're becoming more and more reliant on science and technology. But the general knowledge about science and technology is not accompanying the degree of dependency that we're having. So that can generate a power imbalance where those who are in charge of developing science and technology can exert great power over those consuming. So I believe that it's very important that we are very aware and the development of AI technology is transparent for everyone. So I believe that the first threat I would be posing is transparency.
Thank you, Luis. Christine, it doesn't pose a threat. Tell us more.
Well, before I go into that, I'd love to briefly define the role of AI in education. I think that AI in education involves utilizing the advanced technologies to enhance and transform various aspects of the learning experience. AI in education performs tasks such as personalizing learning, automating administrative processes, and providing data-driven insights and fostering innovative teaching models. And going through, highlighting its potential benefits in terms of personalized learning, efficiency, and accessibility. Personalized learning, it provides things like tailored instruction. AI can analyze individual student data to customize learning materials, for example, and strategies addressing each student's unique strengths and weaknesses. It can provide adaptive learning platforms. It can increase efficiency through automated administrative tasks. AI can handle routine, tasks like allowing educators to focus on more teaching and engaging with students, and grading automation. I mean, that alone, is helpful. It can increase accessibility, provide data-driven insights and predictive analytics. Those things are real value. It can augment, another argument is of over-reliance on human interaction. A point being may limit, education potential. So like not all students will thrive in traditional classrooms, and AI can provide an alternative personalized learning experience that can cater to individual needs. Is my time up?
Just about. So good stopping
okay.
point. Thank you so much, Christine. Meenakshi.
Yeah. So I want to begin by lending to what Louis has just said, and I totally believe that AI promises efficiency, accessibility, and customization in learning. However, it is crucial to weigh the potential threats it poses to the core of education. Education is all about a human touch. It is about empathy. It is about fostering those meaningful connections that you have. And when dwelling into this motion, it is most crucial that we explore it. At least I have three major areas in which I would like to dwell. One is the ethical considerations. There are no laws, there are no books, there are no policies that are being written, and therefore it's a broad area to actually dwell into. The societal implications. Look at our society. It has digital divides. It has multiple things that I'm just going to dwell upon. And the third one is the potential avenues. It's a vacuum right now. And as we dwell into it, I think we need to be extremely careful as we tread the path. Let me start with ethical, consideration, privacy concerns. While we say that yes, human interaction isn't enough, we would like to come in to imagine a smart classroom that is equipped with AI-powered surveillance cameras. Right? Sorry, is it 2 minutes?
You've got 20 seconds.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about biases and fairnesses. I'm going to talk about transparencies and accountability. I'm going to talk about inequality that has been created, personalization learning, as we spoke about. How personalized are we? So I'm going to talk about that in my next 2 minutes. Hold on to listen to me.
All right. So first round has just come to a close. And in this first round, we heard about, well, perhaps technology is neutral and it's what you do with it. And then Christine brought out, well, what is the role? And began to expand on that. And then Meenakshi closed with, well, the threats. Well, let's jump in a little deeper. Luis, you're on.
All right. And yeah, I do agree with what Dr. Christine said. I think all this can be achieved through AI. I'm an enthusiast as well, but I believe we have to put guardrails. Otherwise, um, yeah, as it was said earlier as well, AI can pose several threats to students in terms of privacy, for example, because to achieve a personalized learning system, as you put it, uh, you will have to consume data from the student. So any AI system, basically, it learns from data. So in this case, in order to provide a personalized service to the student, it needs to consume data from the student. So if the student doesn't want to share his data, for example, for privacy concerns, or if there is a data leak, which is something much worse, uh, all this data from the students is going to be in the hands of people that shouldn't be. So it's a privacy concern. It's a very serious issue. So we need to have very strict laws in terms of safeguarding the data. So that is one threat. And another threat is because data, as we all know, is biased. So an AI algorithm is not biased by itself. What is biased is the data from which it learns from. So if the data is biased, then you might have an outputted bias, and that can lead to other types of discrimination as well. So yeah.
All right, Luis, thank you. Christine, tell us.
So this idea of efficiency balancing with emotion and human connection, AI may lack emotional intelligence and nuanced understanding. Um, there's some truth to that, and while AI may not replicate human emotions, it can supplant emotional intelligence by identifying patterns in student behavior and providing early intervention when needed. The first being behavioral pattern recognition. So AI systems can analyze patterns in student behavior and identify signs of disengagement or frustration or other emotional states. By recognizing these patterns, AI can contribute to understanding students' emotional well-being in the learning environment. Early intervention strategies could be like AI-driven early warning signs that can alert educators to potential emotional challenges faced by students. This enables timely interventions, allowing educators to address emotional concerns before they escalate and impact the learning experience. This could eliminate sort of that manual perusal of the grade books, sort of that did the student hand an assignment in and letting that go too long. Personalized support. AI tools can provide personalized emotional support by adapting feedback and resources based on the individual needs and emotional responses of students. Tailoring interventions to students' emotional states contributes to a more supportive and empathetic learning environment. I'll just stop it there. I think I'm close to time.
All right. Yep. Very close. So, Meenakshi, you said, yeah, there were threats. Christine just said, no, what are you talking about? They can pick up on patterns. What did you say?
Not nothing. Some.
What do you think? You're up.
I think the debate's just taking a very interesting turn. So I'm going to go for Christine's point on personalized learning. I think introducing AI-based personalized learning platforms may inadvertently deepen the inequalities if the access of technology outside of the school is not uniform. We need to be extremely careful of that. While language learning it's a great power that it gives in your hand. AI helps you develop your language abilities. We would primarily would want to use the example that it might not take into consideration the cultural context, and it may inadvertently neglect the cultural diversity of the student. So, while we can use all of these potential threats that loom on us are something that we might need to think about. AI tools for routine tasks is a great idea, but I think what goes missing is the human touch of mentorship, personalization, emotional support, and exemplifying a very harmonious collaboration between humans that happens. And you're interacting with a machine, though that could be extremely encouraging for our students, and and the whole grading system. The last point I want to put before you take away the 2 minutes: an AI grading system, if not carefully monitored, can actually unintentionally favor specific writing styles, or language proficiency, or disadvantages could be disadvantages to some students. I'm going to pause here.
All right. Thank you, Christine. So, human touch or machine? Luis, guide us.
No, I just want to say that I totally agree with Meenakshi, and I feel that the one of the I would extend on what you said about equity issues, because I believe that many educational institutions across the world, they don't have similar access to technology. So we already live in a world with a lot of inequity, and if by starting to introduce AI tools in schools, we are likely going to be introducing them first in schools that already have good infrastructure. And AI can then be an agent, a vector that will be increasing this inequity. And thus, I think, causing a very negative impact on students that cannot attend high quality, or I would say, schools with high quality infrastructure, technological infrastructure. So I believe that if it is going to happen, it has to be universal. It cannot be a short blanket in order to protect, to not exacerbate inequity. And another issue that I would like to point out is the fact that if for every new technology, there is resistance and there is a difficulty in learning, especially for people from older generations. For me, I, as I pass my turns, I start to realize that I don't catch up with many of the newer things as fast as I did, and my parents are the same thing. So I believe that you have to provide training for all the educators, and the learning curve of the educators is not going to be the same as well. So it is going to be challenging to make more of AI uniform across all schools.
Thank you, Luis. Christine, equity,
Okay.
access. How do you respond?
I just want it noted that we're stacking the decks here. I do not agree with my own arguments, and I'm a model to students everywhere for kind of walking both sides of this. We got a complex argument with a rebuttal that's straddling two arguments on offering kind of diverse learning and catering to individual learning styles, but also creating a digital learning divide. So I'll try to tackle both topics. One is offering diverse learning materials and sort of individual learning styles, to which AI does offer diverse learning materials in that it can curate a wide range of materials, including multimedia content, simulations, interactive exercises, all of which is really great. This diversity caters to different learning preferences and stimulates creativity. It also takes a burden off the instructor, which is nice. Adapting to learning, its adaptability to different learning styles, AI-powered adaptive learning profiles, assesses different learning styles and preferences, interactive, engaging experiences, that's all nice. In terms of the over-reliance on technology can create a digital divide, efforts can be made to ensure that there's more equitable access to technology and bridging the divide and making AI enhanced education accessible to all. There could be better digital inclusion initiatives. Organizations and educational institutions can implement initiatives to provide affordable or free access to necessary technological devices. This includes efforts to distribute devices like laptops and tablets to students in need. They're probably far and few, like that could be better.
All right, we are at 2 minutes. Thank you, Christine. Minakshi, Christine made a valiant defense here, but you're asking about the human touch. Tell us more.
Definitely can't do without the human touch, but I like the idea of distribution of devices. In fact, many companies over the years, all the giants, the IT giants have tried doing that, and have also offered, various guidelines for the usage. But again, the access is very limited. It's a vast world. To reach out to everybody is like super difficult. However, in the spirit of John Dewey, who emphasized on the importance of education as a process of an individual growth, I think AI should strive to avoid biases. That's my basis, and I think AI systems, if not designed or monitored carefully, can actually lead to larger biases. This could be an ethical question about fairness, particularly in assessments. I could also think of an example in admissions. And sometimes we rely a little too much on AI, wherein we are giving opportunities to students, education opportunities, but what we don't realize is that the system might not be equally available to everybody, and therefore cultural biases do set in. For example, I remember I had a student in my class, and we gave them a reading piece to enhance their reading skills. And they had a word in the passage which was uh, they ate a bun for breakfast. He could read the word bun, but he could not make sense of it because they don't eat bun for breakfast. So the kind of passage, automated passage that was offered, could definitely enhance the literacy skills of the student, but it did not really cater to the cultural aspect of. Therefore, without human interventions or without careful considerations, this is only half a battle won.
All
Prioritizing
right,
the
stop you. Minakshi, I'm going to stop you right there. All right, expert panel, take a breath. We have just completed round 3. Take a breath. You're ready. The oxygen in your rooms has like depleted. So take a breath. Take a breath. We have heard threats. We have heard access. We have heard digital divide. And I'm going to bring us back. Artificial intelligence poses a threat to the humanization of education. Yes or no? Luis, you're on round 4.
Yes, it can potentially be a threat. And I believe another point that I would like to stress on is that we can be raising the level of dependency on technology. And dependency, by definition, it's something you cannot be without, right? So I believe that by creating this dependency, we can see, like in 1 year with ChatGPT, today 1 year in ChatGPT, I learned that today earlier from Mrs. Pooja Shadeva lecture, which was brilliant. And I think that by creating a dependency, we are actually indirectly making students less resilient to problem solving without the assistance of an artificial intelligence. So the balance should be very calibrated, I would say, because otherwise it can result in the opposite of the desired outcome. And I believe that, as I said in the first round, safeguarding, regularizing the use of AI in education is of paramount importance. And I think that for that to happen, there needs to be a collaboration between first educators, then those developing the technology, and finally policymakers. So it cannot be tackled from one of these sides only. We need to come together in at the end to make things safe. And actually, uh, by making it safe, you make it prosperous for students and for educators.
All right, thank you, Luis. Christine, I'm hearing this issue of safety. Now I feel threatened. Tell me why I should not feel threatened.
Okay. Not all students thrive in traditional classrooms, and AI can provide an alternative personalized learning experience to cater to individual needs. Traditional classrooms may not accommodate various learning styles, leaving some students behind, and AI can adapt to different learning preferences. Personalization can help. Not every student excels in a one-size-fits-all educational model. AI allows for the personalized learning paths and addresses specific strengths and weaknesses to enhance overall success. There's flexibility in pace. Traditional classrooms often follow a fixed pace, which may be too fast or slow for some students. AI-driven platforms enable flexible pacing. Students grasp concepts before moving forward. There's tailored support. So some students require additional support for advanced challenges, which traditional classrooms may struggle to provide. AI can offer tailored assistance, adapting to individual needs and fostering a more inclusive learning environment. Accessibility, inclusivity. AI tools can enhance accessibility for students with diverse needs, including those with disabilities. So features like speech to text and personalized interfaces to contribute to a more inclusive educational experience can be provided. I think so. I think I'm up. I think my time's up.
Well, Christine, I don't feel so threatened. Meenakshi, why is this an issue now? I don't understand anymore.
I think apart from the ethical and society points, I would want to, emphasize upon the essential skills that we need to develop. Apart from the 21st century skills or the future-ready skills that AI can help you foster, there are these basic, skills of being human. That really needs to come across, and for that, an emotional connect and a human touch is extremely important. Individualized moral and ethical guidance is extremely important. Intrinsic motivation is something that I want to talk about. I always tell schools it's very easy for you to buy a technology or put the technology there. Where is the motivation to use it? Do you think a child, if the child goes to school, or if you don't even go to the school and you have a device with you, would you be motivated enough to just pick up the device and learn with it every day? You need a human touch, a connection, an interaction, someone that you can who can understand you as a person, someone who can understand your well-being and a holistic approach towards learning rather than just about a very technical approach who's going to read you all the time. Algorithms will try and design something for you and offer you learning pathways and walkways. But I think what is required is, and this might even hinder your creativity because you would always rely, like you said, on creativity. GPT. Let me just GPT it, or I just GPT'd it, as our students said. So. That's not the way we're going to look at holistic well-being of our students. We definitely need a human touch to it. I'm not denying that AI has amazing potential, but the human dynamics is something that we definitely cannot ignore. Important.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi. Okay, Luis, let's hear what you've got to say on this. This is our fifth round.
All right. So, what I'd like to stress in this fifth round, which I believe is the last, is the pace in which AI is advancing. So, we are now, I believe, within 10 years of achieving an artificial general intelligence, which is AI capable of matching human cognition. And if I look at the computer capacity I had 5 years ago, nowadays I can create a mathematical model with 100 times more parameters, like more than 1 billion parameters, to predict tasks or to generate images, as I do work in my research. So if we don't create policy now, I believe it's going to be quite hard to when we achieve artificial general intelligence. And just to summarize what I believe are the main threats, which I pose, I think the first one is creating dependency on science and technology, which can lead to an unfair power relationship between those developing science and technology and those consuming. The biases in AI algorithms, which is something I work on as well. And I think this is a huge problem. I work on image models, but when you talk about language models, this is even worse. And then the lack of human interaction it can lead to. Privacy concerns, I think it's also very serious, because any data leak, you will be leaking data from students, which is by itself a serious problem. And equity issues, which I believe we don't have across the board the same technological devices and access to technology. You will be just increasing the social inequity between groups of people. So this is my final remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Luis. Christine, would love to hear your voice on this one.
Again, that was sort of a dual argument, and I'll tackle the first one because I don't have enough thoughts on the second one. The sort of inclusive learning opportunities is what I caught off of Mina's, and the sort of AI tools can accommodate the diverse learning needs by breaking down barriers for students with disabilities and ensuring equal access to education. Personal issues. She was talking about sort of talking about an over dependence on technology, and sort of personalized accessibility features. AI tools offers personalized features such as speech to text, text to speech, catering to various learning preferences. The customizable interfaces ensure that students with diverse needs can adapt learning environments to suit their requirements. Individualized support, like AI-driven tools, can provide individualized support to students with disabilities or specific challenges that they may be facing. Tailored resources and learning materials accommodate different learning styles and paces, some of which I mentioned earlier. Enhanced communication, AI-powered communication tools, including chatbots and virtual assistants, facilitate seamless interactions for students. I'll say with disabilities, but I think, disabilities is sort of, it caters to everyone. Improved communication platforms ensure that students can easily access information, ask questions, and participate in discussions. Adaptive learning patterns. AI-driven adaptive learning platforms can adjust content and difficulty levels based on individual student capabilities. This adaptability ensures that students with diverse learning needs receive content at a pace and complexity suitable to their understanding and level.
I'm going to stop you right there since
okay.
you took that, Christine. Yep. Meenakshi, wrap this up for us.
Certainly. I think in closing, I wouldn't want to negate anything that Christine has said, but I think I would say that to navigate the complexities of integrating AI in education, it is crucial that we give it a certain thought, especially the humanizing aspect of it, like I've already mentioned, and so has Louis. I would say efficiency, personalization, data-driven insights are amazing, but I guess the biases is something, and the cultural aspect of it is something that we need to take care of, and to preserve the essential human element that define being human, and a very holistic approach to learning. After all, I think education is something that has been a social game rather than anything else. There's one more point, in pursuit of technological advancements that I want to put forward, is that of sustainability. Not only sustainability, not only with respect to sustaining the interest of a child, but also with the environment. Cannot forget the impact, energy consumption, e-waste generation, algorithm discrepancies. And I don't just get me started there, because yes, there is a lot that we could actually look at. And as we chart this, I think, course forward, let us embrace a vision that AI, complements human touch, creating a sustainable and equitable environment, and an ecosystem that actually nurtures the minds of young children in a way that we do not lose ourselves, or the human within us, or the child within us, and stay in touch with our human side while we use technological advancements. And I think the best part would be that we embrace it, but embrace it absolutely mindfully. We know things are coming our way for a purpose. They have a great purpose, but I think what we need to do is pause and think about, once again, going back to policies, looking at ethical implications, looking at societal implications, looking at cultural implications, looking at the sustainable aspect of it. So find a fine balance. I think we as humans have always done that. While telegraph came in, I think we all people were still skeptical about, what, I think this is a breach of privacy. But you know what, we survived that era because we were mindful, and
All
we
right. I'm going to
navigated.
stop you right there, Meenakshi. I'm going to stop you right there.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yes, yes, yes. I saw lots of heads nodding. So the expert panel have generated more questions than I've seen for any other session during these 3 days. So let's take, I'm just going to take them in the order that they showed up, and hopefully I'll post them, but I'll read them to you now. Given the role of teachers in fostering social emotional skills, how can AI serve as a complementary tool for educators in providing that personalized social emotional support to students? Meenakshi, why don't you jump in on this one?
Absolutely. So I'm going to go on the other side. I hope this is open now and we're not for and against.
Can we
Just
put our
jump in.
positions down?
Yeah.
Yes,
Can we
you
put
can
a
put the positions down.
Okay, good.
All right. We'd love to answer that. For whatever I've said till now, I have been introducing these tools to teachers where you could actually use social emotional learning as one of the aspects in the classroom. One of the most popularly used tools is Microsoft Reflect. It's a part of your Microsoft Teams and available as standalone as well. It does very simple check-ins, like Christine was talking about. So you could actually have a new check-in every day. How were you feeling? How was the lesson yesterday? What was the thing that you heard yesterday? So you can have a collated data, so the teacher doesn't need to actually take a look at it every day, but they're taking a holistic view at the week also helps the teacher keep up with the students and the way they have been feeling about not only coming to school, but about how is it that they're dealing with academics. Another aspect of a great school, I know, has used facial recognition at the entrance of their gates. And what they do is, as the child enters, it not only gives you the attendance, the facial recognition, but it also captures the emotion of the child. So a message goes to the teacher saying that the child looks a little not so happy today. So if it's a continued emotion, the teacher knows that today I need to touch base with this child. And in India, you have about 40 to 50 in a class, so you can easily miss out such things. But I think AI can really, really help, and I can go on with examples
All right.
that helped.
Thank you so much, Meenakshi. I'm going to jump to the next question, Luis. I'm going to ask if you'll take it. And the next question is, years ago, I would have started thinking about the points I should be talking when given a topic. Now I see the topic and my mind goes straight to ChatGPT for points. So a lot of us do this, I believe. Isn't that a threat already, Luis?
Yes, yeah, I do believe it is a threat already. And by all means, now that putting my position aside as well, I am a great AI enthusiast. That's why I do research on it, and that's why I love it. So, but I believe we cannot be too reliant on that, or otherwise we will create dependency and we will lose the ability to tackle problem solving by ourselves. So I do believe that there should be a way, and I think that is to educators to discuss about it, how we can incorporate ChatGPT. Because yeah, I personally believe that it's embracing AI into the classroom is the best way to automate certain tasks, so that the educator can invest more of its own time into creating connections with the students, understanding what is the students struggling with, how can you provide the best assistance to the student, how can you adapt to the student learning style. So, and I believe that the greatest gain in the education process happens when that connection between educator and student is established. That's what I aim for in my classrooms. But I believe to do that, you have to make the good use of the technology you have at your hand. So if I can just give an example, my
We
first
don't
class.
have time, though. I'm sorry, we don't have
Oh,
time.
sorry,
Lisa.
sorry.
But you made your point. You made your point. Christine, I'm going to hand the next question to you. How can the potential threats of widespread AI adoption be mitigated to ensure responsible and ethical use in society?
That's like a world question. So I will bring it down to the individual where we can kind of each pick up our own pebble to make that kind of a reasonable question. I think that we can lean into our own responsibility and accountability to draw upon our multiple intelligences, and by that I mean our humanity, our subjective intelligence. And this is something that I've been writing about and really kind of marinating in for a while. And I'll define those loosely as our kind of orientation intelligence, our values, our ideals, our sort of aesthetic, our purpose, our mission, our vision in life, our tools, the things that we get from our functional disciplines like our PMPs and the things that we learn in our jobs, and our experiences, the sort of hard knocks, the lessons of our life, right? And that's something that AI can't get. And they can get the tools, they can get that middle area really well, and they can copy everything that a university can teach us. And that's what we go in for our little handy assistants. When we need to talk, that question that Louise just answered, that laziness that we're worried about, AI can get that middle column really well, but it can't get our humanity and it can't get our life experiences. And we really need to go deeper into that. And that's where we kind of, I don't want to say we fail, but that's where we kind of, we're the first to sort of trade that away when work tells us we have to work more. And we just go into that middle column and try to burrow in deeper. And AI is going to beat us every time. And so we have to kind of live life, like be a better person, get to know ourselves better and have more experiences, because AI will never get there. And so when they say live your whole self and be your full self and, bring your whole self to work, it's like, figure out why you like your job. Figure out why you like your work. Figure out what you're good at. Figure out why you're connected to what you do and why you're compulsively interested in it, and get happy with it, and just follow that red thread and just pull it for the rest of your life, and figure out where that takes you. And that's what's going to get you promoted, and that's what's going to have you chase your career. That's what's going to make you happy. And don't compete with an AI. Don't compete with an AI engine, because you're going to fail, and it's not going to be pretty, So use it as the assistant it was meant to be. Like, make that work for you. That's my advice on that question.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant, Christine. And I'm looking at the questions, and they're raising concerns like, are we going to use it to problem solve so then we get worse? Are we going to use it to capture that middle column, as Christine suggested? But then what if we don't learn how to memorize anymore? There's multiple problems, and I really appreciate that each one of you, given a side that maybe you would not have volunteered for, were able to hold that space for us. And as we close, I would love to close by just asking you, and this isn't a question, but I feel like it merits attention. What's one simple piece of advice that you would offer our participants today? when we think about AI and its relationship or intersection with education? In just a minute. Meenakshi, why don't I start with you?
Sure, thank you. I think it starts with you. Don't forget the word you while you're chasing AI. AI could be a great thing to bring to education. I'll take back could. It is a good thing to bring to education, but I think what cannot go missing is you. You need to be mindful while you walk into a class, forget AI. Today, you walk into your class. What is it that you carry with you? That's your personality. You don't carry books, you don't carry a bag, you don't carry your clothes, but it's the personality that you bring to your class and offer to your students that actually can make an impact. That's what matters most. When you are using AI, use it to match your personality and your students' personality. Use it to make the world a better place.
Well said, Meenakshi. Thank you so much. Luis.
Well, if I could share more than an advice, it's kind of like a dream of mine as well. I think that, and if we look in history, education became so affordable, which is so great in the 20th century. But the cost of that was that education became bound to certain methodologies that doesn't address all kinds of students with different types of needs, different types of backgrounds, different types of learning styles. And I believe that, and if I ask you here in the audience, I guess the answer would be the same. Like, what is the subject that you enjoy the most when you were a kid and when you were studying or in university? And I think that for most of us, the answer will be the one that I had a personal connection with my professor, with my teacher. And I feel like with AI, bringing AI into the classroom, we will really be able to take the time that the educator spends doing repetitive tasks like grading, and he will be able to use, he or she or they will be able to use that time to foster that connection with the student, learning who the student is, what are their needs, what is their background, and really foster kind of like a mentorship relationship, not just another number in the classroom. I don't know. It really becomes more personal, and that's what I dream for. Like, to use AI in my classroom to make my relationship with my students personal, so that I can really care for them and do the best that I can for them. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Luis. Christine, your closing minute talk.
Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for having me. This has been so much fun, and if anything you ever ask me to do again, I will be there in a heartbeat. And I think my words would just be to proceed with caution and to echo what Bina said, is it starts with you, and you have to bring yourself, and you have to be accountable, for your usage of this. This could be as harmless as a BB gun or as powerful as an AK-47, depending on how you want to use it. And I think Luis has the right vision for it. This is meant to be an assistant, not a replacement. This is meant to be a tool, and it's meant to be an enhancement. So
thank you so much, Christine. And I would say that just having spent this hour with the three of you, I feel so much smarter. So thank you so much. And yeah, I think our audience feels the same way.
Thank you.
All the best to the three of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Bye.